Engaging with the right audience transforms the mere words into powerful connections. Welcome back to the next session of the day. Our next speaker has come all the way from Indore to help us understand how AI and our financial statements shall correlate. CA Rishir Soni is definitely an AI enthusiast. He has kept adding feathers to the crown by qualifying LLB and numerous certificate courses. He was also one of the finalists in ICAI's first AI hackathon. What makes him even more versatile is that he is a filmmaker. His recent short film, Crossroads, was nominated by Shot in India. I request Moshmi ma'am and CA Rishikesh Badwe sir to kindly grace the stage. Thank you, dignitaries. I request CA Moshmi ma'am to kindly felicitate our dynamic speaker. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. We are looking forward to hear your perspective on the basics of AI and AI in financial statements. Thank you.
So, very good morning, everybody. Glad to be here today. Special thanks to the Managing Committee, Chairman, Vice Chairman, Secretary for having me here. Before we begin, let me just give an introduction about myself. As ma'am also rightly said, I am a practicing chartered accountant from Indore. I'm also a filmmaker by passion. Today we'll be having an interactive session in terms of AI. We'll be discussing a little bit brief about the introduction of AI, and then we'll be going into live use case demonstrations, right? So before we begin, I'll just let you know that I'll be catering to the questions at the end of the session. So if you do have any questions, do let me know afterwards, yeah? So before we begin to know about AI, let me just, by a show of hand, how many of you have been using some sort of AI like ChatGPT or any other form of AI in your practice or in your, wow, that's a great number, right? So let me just tell you something that AI is not something which has been new. It's something which has been here since the past decade. There are different branches of AI. First one was machine learning and natural language processing. When we look at a video on YouTube or when we listen to a music or a song on Spotify, after a time it starts showing us recommendations based on the kind of music or the kind of videos we watch. That's also a kind of AI. We all have smartwatches. Smartwatches calculate your heart rate, BP, this and that. Everything is there now. All this is done through machine learning, natural language processing, and basically bridging the gap between what's physical and what's your cyberspace. So AI has been there since the past decade in that sense. When we talk about the generative part of AI, which has been the new branch, which has recently released with the common people, the normal you and I like people, that's been possible because of the introduction of ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini from these various companies like OpenAI, Google, and so on. So this generative branch of AI works on something which is known as a large language model. It simply means that you give an input to the model and it gives you an output based on that input. It can be text, image, video, anything. So you can do a number of analysis using those large language models. So this is what we're going to discuss today. First of all, what are the benefits of using AI in chartered accountancy? Here are just some of them. First is reduced manual work and improved accuracy. What do I mean by this? Let's say you send your team to audit a particular company, and there are hundreds and thousands of invoices which you need to vouch. Today we do it on a sample basis. We take a random sampling or stratified sampling and do our vouching and verification. But what if I tell you, on one end you upload all the invoices on AI, on the other hand you upload the accounting data on AI, and within seconds, AI cross-references each and every invoice and gives you a report based on that. It will not only make your audit 100% rather than a sample check, but it will also be accurate. So there will be reduced human error. And definitely, since this is done in a matter of seconds, the efficiency in audit also increases, and also the risk of the audit will reduce subsequently. Another benefit is the reason why we should use AI is to identify patterns in fraud detection. If I upload a large data set It can be an Excel file, PDF, image, anything. We can ask AI to draw conclusions on that data set. It can give you outliers, it can give you different kind of patterns which may indicate to a fraud. It can also give you suggestions in terms of where you should look in your audit to find possible misstatements, errors, or frauds. And finally, this is the last point, which is here is somewhat relevant for the perspective of business, that let's just say that if you all have data right now for your clients in the office, right? So right now you're not talking to the data. If you need to access the data, you'll have to search the folder, go to the client details, and then look at the relevant Word, Excel, PowerPoint, whatever format you have. But just imagine a system where you upload all this data on AI, and instead of searching manually on the computer, you just ask AI what the past performance of this particular client is. Based on that, what the financial statement said in the past years, what it would say based on the current market scenarios which it can capture from the web and different sources, and based on that give you a response that these are the particular areas of risk, these are the particular areas of benefit, this is the tentative variations from previous year to the current year. So if there are differences between that as predicted by AI and the actual variations, you know where to look for them. So these are some of the common benefits of AI. The next is basically how AI use cases can be used in chartered accountancy. So there are these 4 broad areas which I have mentioned here. First is automated data entry and reconciliation. This is more on the accounting related aspects and reconciliation related aspects. Then there's drafting. Today, legal drafting in LLB law as well as in chartered accountancy is something which is prevalent everywhere, no matter if you're a practicing chartered accountant or a member in industry. Then there's risk management and compliance monitoring. We'll go deeper into each of these points now, and fraud detection and prevention. So when I talk about automated data entry, there are 2 aspects: automated data entry and then reconciliation of whatever data is there. So there are various third-party tools, including they have been introduced with Tally, as well as there's a tool called Suvit. These tools, what they do is, if you upload a PDF of a bank statement or an Excel file of a bank statement or even an image of a bank statement, all you need to do is identify the heads which would be debited or credited other than the bank. And it's going to automatically pick all those entries and put it into your accounting software. So there won't be any need for manual data entry related work. And with regards to reconciliation, it's as simple as just uploading your financials and accounting data in a reconciliation tool, and it's going to find out variations and differences if there are any, and give you possible reasons for those differences, including suggestive improvements which can be done. And this can definitely save time and improve accuracy in financial reporting also, which has been the need of the hour with regards to the listed entities and so on. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Please name the book for audit tools.
Yeah.
By
So,
ICAI.
right, sir. I'll be getting into the details of that as well, the CAGPT and different tools which have been given by ICAI also. So I'll be going into that in just a few minutes after this brief. Yeah, I'll be discussing it, yeah. So we'll just go into details in terms of the next one, which is AI in drafting, as I said. So here, the different areas can be income tax appeals and replies. The basic example here can be a client has come to you at the very last moment for an income tax notice reply or a GST notice reply. All you need to do is upload that PDF or whatever the order or notice is to the AI and give your responses in the most simple words. It's as simple as messaging somebody. So if you give your responses in those simple words, AI is going to draft you a reply as it is, as you want. Then there's also proposal letters, engagement letters for the different kinds of engagements we as chartered accountants engage in. Then there are mail replies, reminder messages. And there's something known as robotic process automation. This is something which is not AI, but just think about it in a way that all those repetitive tasks like mailing somebody or reminding somebody at daily basis, you just need to write an RPA script and you can just implement it in your office. Now, I know we are not engineers, we don't know coding and everything. You don't have to do that. You just need to talk to that AI and tell them that I want this particular RPA script. It's going to write you the RPA script. It's going to explain you how to save it in your computer, and it's going to explain you how to implement it as well. And finally, there's summarization and data consolidation. We work on a huge data set, so it's definitely one of the most major benefits over here. We're going to have a use case with regards to all these and the audit reports. Then we have risk management and compliance monitoring. The laws and regulations today have been evolving ever so more faster, right? It may not be possible for us to track each and every changes in the laws, regulations, especially in GST and income tax with regards to every notice or circular. But AI has the power to access all that data within seconds. If you have a client who's coming for an advice, or if you have a client which is where you are just doing some sort of a work on income tax, GST, or any other law, you can simply ask AI with regards to what are the applicable laws and regulations to the client and whether the client has complied with those. So this can also reduce risk of financial loss as well as reputational damage. Fraud detection and prevention, I already discussed that it can identify patterns, give you analysis. It can be Benford's law analysis. It can be your relative size factor. It can be any sort of analysis which AI can perform. But what are the challenges here for us as chartered accountants right now for AI? Well, first is that AI requires a significant amount of data to be effective. There's a saying that if you ask an AI a general statement, it's going to give you a general answer. So don't expect AI to give you a perfect answer if you're asking the wrong question. The better your question would be, the better your response would be. And AI may not be able to handle complex and subjective tasks. This is basically related to human emotions. I'm going to take a use case example for this point as well. And there may be ethical concerns related to AI. One of the major concerns here is confidentiality and security as per the code of ethics of institute as well. So we need to use those AI tools as suggested by the institute also to perform our work so that security and confidentiality can be maintained. And with regards to the future of chartered accountancy, well, AI is expected to be more prevalent and it's going to lead to new opportunities for chartered accountants as well. The ICAI has also introduced this course for AI for chartered accountants, a post-qualification certificate course. And I must say that CA Umesh Sharma sir and CA Dayanavas Sharma sir have been working tirelessly to promote this AI as well. And not just him, in fact, I'll just suggest that even your own council member, CA Chitle sir, he's also introducing this particular, advanced mode of technology into the profession as well. So let's begin with the use cases, shall we? Yeah, just a moment. Okay, so for the use cases I've already drafted some of the prompts which I'll be giving to AI. So I'll be using ChatGPT here. ChatGPT is one of the tools which ICAI has also recommended based on its security, confidentiality, and everything to use. So all you need to do is go on Google and search ChatGPT in your own time, and you'll get something like this. If you subscribe to it, then it's even much better. I'll explain to you why. So the first use case which we'll be doing here is, we'll be giving it a prompt. Now a prompt is something which is an input for AI. You give this prompt to AI, on the basis of it, it's going to give you an output. So the first prompt here is, I've written that I am a chartered accountant, a partner in XYZ Associates, and I want to draft a statutory audit proposal for ABC & Sons Private Limited. It's a small private company engaged in selling of computer parts. I hope it's visible. And as I said earlier, you cannot generalize the prompt. So I have to be very specific here. So that's why I've added these lines here, that please keep the language very professional, avoid marketing or promotional languages. The engagement letter should strictly adhere to SA 210. This is something which I have to write right now because ChatGPT or any other AI tool is not something which is based on India. CAGPT is a different story. We are going to discuss that as well. But this is something which I'll be doing on a normal ChatGPT right now. So I'm just going to copy this particular prompt and I'm going to paste it here in the ChatGPT window. And as soon as I hit enter, it's going to read it, analyze it, and give me an engagement letter as I require. So here I hit enter, and here's a draft engagement letter. The name of the firm, Chartered Accountants, to the Board of Directors, ABC & Son. Subject is engagement letter. We are pleased to confirm our acceptance and understanding of our statutory audit for the company, the financial year, so on and so forth. And this is in accordance with SA 210, agreeing the terms of engagement. I haven't given the name of the SA. I just wrote SA 210. It finally captured it from the web. It gave us the response. It starts with the objective and scope of the audit, responsibilities of the auditor, responsibilities of management and those charged with governance, that there should be common understanding, this and that, what kind of reporting deliverables would be there, what would be our fees, and other matters if there are any. So this is a sample-based format which you can definitely copy and paste it in your own Word file or your own Office format. In fact, a much more beneficial here is if you have an old format, you can upload that old format and ask GPT to give me a engagement letter based on that old format, so your standardization still keeps. And at the end, there's also membership number, firm registration number, and so on and so forth. So this is one of the use cases where we have developed the proposal letter. Now let's move a step further. That the proposal letter and engagement letter is done, and now we are auditing ABC and Sons Private Limited. And for that, this is the scenario. That it's a private company, as we all know, and there are only 5 people there. It's a closed, family-held private company. One of them is a manager. He oversees the entire operations and has complete authority over all other departments. The other person is cashier, who is responsible for day-to-day receipts, payment-related work, and provides invoices to customers or transfers a copy to the customers of these invoices to the accountant as well. Accountant is responsible for the data entry. There's a sales agent who is responsible for customer relationship management and so on and so forth. And he has a power or authority to provide a discount of up to 5% to the customer. Any other discount shall be approved by the manager. And then there's customer care agent who's responsible for warranty claims and returns or repairs. So now in big companies, there are these policy documents and internal control documents. But in a small company like this, there won't be any. So it's important. So why I have chosen this particular example is that in your own language, you just need to explain to the AI that this is the internal control system of the company which I'm working in. These are the people, these are the responsibilities. It can be as simple as that. You can even write it in Hindi, Marathi, any language you want, and AI is going to understand it. So I'm just going to copy this particular prompt again here. And paste it here. Now, here I have written at the end of the prompt that these are the 5 particular people who are working in the company. I need to use AI to identify any weaknesses in the internal control system and also mention the strength, and then give me a checklist to audit this particular internal control system. Again, there are 2 ways to do this. I can use the ICAI's guidance notes and checklists which are available there, but that's a standardized format. I want a checklist which is there only for this company. So it's going to identify these weaknesses and it's going to give us the response. So I'm just going to hit enter, and here we go. Internal control evaluation. It starts with the strengths. There's segregation of duties. There are 5 different people with 5 different roles and responsibilities. Sales agent have limited authority for discount. With higher discount, he needs manager's approval. Sorry. Then there's manager's oversight. The manager has authority over all departments, which includes top-level review and approval system, and the discount-related approval is there. Cashier's reporting, he transfers a copy of invoices to the accountant, ensuring that there's a maker-checker difference. There's a review of those invoices. Now let's come to the weaknesses. There's segregation of duty, but it's not very much. The cashier is responsible for both payments as well as receipts. There's no bar on the cashier key. You can only put or give invoices with regards to this particular amount. Same is with the accountant as well. The accountant does not have a responsibility to enter data which is of an expense which is more than a set amount. He can put any sort of data. He can input any sort of data at any sort of amount in the accounting software. There's no approval concept over there. Manager's complete authority is also something which is a kind of weakness for the internal control system, because there can be override controls. Then sales agent discount authority, which is up to 5% without additional approval. Here, due to absence of discount policies, there can be manipulations of sales figures if not monitored correctly. So you see, this is giving me an area of where I need to look for while I'm auditing the internal control system. And so on and so forth, it's given me the weakness. Now let's go to the next part, which is the checklist. So it has given me a checklist of the general internal controls which I'll have to look for in this particular company. Verify if proper authorization and approval processes are there. Ensure that there is a segregation of duties, and if there are any weaknesses, what the management is doing for those weaknesses. Review the organizational hierarchy and authority matrix, and check if any duties are concentrated to one person. Now, in that benefits and limitations, I gave you one particular statement where I said that AI cannot handle subjective tasks very much. Because I'll tell you why. Here, the sales agent related point has been written in a weakness, that if the sales agent has been given an authority for 5% of discount, there can be under invoicing and so on and so forth problems. But in reality, the sales agent is nobody but a member of that family. And there's rarely a chance that a member of the family would do something to harm his own business, his or her own business. So there's the subjectivity and professional judgment or professional skepticism, which we as chartered accountants also have to imply here. So after this particular checklist, I can just go deeper into any one particular aspect also, like inventory and stock management. If you want to discuss inventory and stock management, so I'll just ask that give me a detailed checklist with regards to inventory checking. So it's going to generate another set of checklist. It's going to be much more detailed and only focused on inventory. Starts with inventory counting procedure, what's the process, what's the frequency, then what's the documentation related procedures for that. Inventory reconciliation system is there or not in the accounting software or ERP. Management reviews the reconciliation process, verify if any adjustments are there to the inventory, so on and so forth. Then there's inventory recording data. So it's giving me an entire set of checklist only for inventory. Just imagine that, how easy our work would be to go and audit such an enterprise, especially if it's a larger enterprise with more complex departments, processes, and functions. So this is another one of the use for AI. It's still writing actually. Excuse me. And this checklist covers major areas which are effective for control and auditing of inventory of ABC Sons Private Limited. You can definitely add more as per your requirements or as per your professional expertise as well. So the next prompt which I've written here is after I've done my audit, I've done all the checking, and now I'm drafting my audit report as per SA 700. But there's also a particular emphasis of matter para with regards to segregation of duty which I want to draft. So this is what happens when I put a general response. I have not given anything specific in terms of segregation of duty. Mein mujhe kya check karna hai? What do I have to check in segregation of duty? I've just given it a general prompt that give me a paragraph with regards to the segregation of duty. So it's going to connect it with the weaknesses, with the strengths it has given above, and it's going to give me a response based on that strength. So here's your emphasis of matter para. We draw attention to note 10 of the financial statement, which describes the segregation of duties within ABC Sons Private Limited. Company has implemented duties across all key functions, cash handling, accounting, sales, customer care. However, we note that certain duties, particularly with cashier's role, involve concentration of responsibilities, which may result. Yeah. Okay, so it gives you an emphasis of matter para as well. Now you can just copy this paragraph and paste it in your Word document or your audit report, which is there already, and go ahead with your working. So that's another one of the benefits. So this was one use case with regards to auditing a particular private company. I've just taken the internal control for the sake of limited time. And the next use case, which is more prevalent here, is income tax notice reply or a GST notice reply. So for that, I have a sample notice which I have developed here. And here we are going to also look at how AI responds in a general prompt as well as in a specific prompt. So this is just your sample notice of income tax. It's very similar. It's some notice under section 148 of the Income Tax Act. And within 30 days, we have to file the reply. Let's just say that the client has come at the 28th day, for example. And the details of this particular notice are basically under three main heads. The first is there's an unreported income from house property of rupees 50,000 during the financial year, which has not been included in the return of income. The second is there's undisclosed bank interest of around 50,000 again, which has been accrued on fixed deposit, which was being shown at AIS or TIS, but actually have not been incorporated in the books of accounts. And there's unaccounted business receipts of around 10 lakh rupees, which have not been accounted in the books, which are appearing in 26 AS. Then there's opportunity of response, consequences of non-compliance, and submission instructions, which is just there in the normal notice also. So now, first of all, as a chartered accountant, if you had to draw this manually, you will just pick out the sections which would be applicable here. Develop a notice, develop a particular language format, draft that particular response, then check it with the laws or regulations and put your finishing touches, and then submit it over. Let's see what AI does. So here, let's just start a new chart instead, because see, AI remembers everything. If you can see here, when we started this particular conversation about engagement letter, it says that memory has been updated. What it's doing is it's understanding who you are and what you're doing. So if I just put the mouse over here, it says that I'm a partner in XYZ Associates. It has remembered it. So next time if I ask it to draft an engagement letter or draft any sort of document, I don't have to tell him that I'm CA Rishir Soni and I'm a member of XYZ and Associates. It's just going to write it on its own unless I say it otherwise. So let's start a new chat over here. And there's an option for attaching a file. So we are just going to click on that. This is one of the benefits which has now been available in the free version of ChatGPT as well. Just a moment. Okay, let's do one thing. Let me introduce you to CAGPT first, and let's see how income tax notice can be created using ICAI's own CAGPT, correct? So for CAGPT to be accessed, you just need to Google CAGPT. It's going to open this particular link on the website, which is CAGPT AI and ICAI. You open it, it's going to ask you for a member login number, and there's also a student login, foreign member login. So in the member login, you just need to put your membership number, and then their OTP would be there. You just need to put that OTP and you will be taken to a website which looks something like this. So what ICAI has done, it's a fabulous job here, that all the committees which are there in ICAI, all the publications up to the date which are there in the ICAI, all of them have been uploaded at the back end of this GPT. Now you don't have to look at big books or guidance notes or checklist or anything for that. You just need to select your particular committee over here, and all the publications related to committee, all the knowledge related to that committee is already there. So here we are looking at the income tax notice reply. So there are different committees. One of them is the direct taxes committee over here. So I'm going to click on this, and the moment I click on this, again the ChatGPT window opens. But here the difference is that it's a direct taxes committee GPT. The benefit of this is that this does not go outside the publications of the institute. So you can rest assured that this is giving you a response in terms of the acts, regulations, guidance notes, which are there with institute as well. So I'll go to the attach file option over here and upload from the computer. So I'll just, yeah. So I have uploaded this sample notice over here. Now, let's take an example for two ways. First, I'm going to ask it to draft me a general response. In that, I'm just going to write draft a response to this notice. Now, I'm going to explain to you how dangerous this is. If I hit enter here, so it's searching the knowledge. Earlier, this was not there in the previous GPT. Searching my knowledge here means that it's looking at the backend repositories, the publications which the ICAI has, and it's giving an answer from there. So this is the response which it has drafted. This is a general response which it has drafted to the Deputy Commissioner, Circle 11, Board 9, whatever there is, the PAN number of the assessee, notice number. And we are representing the assessee here. So as I explained earlier, it already knows who I am, where do I work. So it has given it in accordance to that. I, on behalf of XYZ Sons, respectfully submit this response dated whatever date is there. And with regards to the 3 points, look what it has done in terms of the general response. With respect to the observation of non-disclosure of rental income, we would like to clarify that the rental income for the set period was inadvertently omitted during the preparation of the return, and we deeply regret it, and we'll provide it in the the submission return which is there. Similarly, with regards to the interest income also, income has now been added to the revised computation and we'll be submitting that. That may not be the real fact. It may not be the assessor's income, or it may be something else completely different, right? And the unaccounted business receipts have also been added. So you definitely do not want this kind of a response for a client. The reality may be something which is very different. So let's change it. I think I have drafted a prompt here also. Yeah. So this is the reply which we want. For the first point, income from house property has not been recorded and the same has been accepted by the SSE. Let's just say that it's accepted. With regards to the bank interest appearing in AIS, the bank has done some sort of a mistake in the submission of their SFT, and therefore the particular FD income is not ours. And therefore we won't be accepting that FD income. And the business receipt of rupees 10 lakh has already been shown in income from other sources because it related to that particular head and not the business head. So this is the kind of response we want from it. So we're going to copy this particular prompt here and we're going to paste it here. Now the benefit of another specific response here would be that we have used certain terms like make sure you use terms like Your Honor or a learned assessing officer in the response wherever required. Mention all the notice details well at the beginning, including the notice number, the PAN number of the assessee, the particular income tax officer which we are addressing, and that we are the authorized representatives of the client. So give a response from our end as a chartered accountant or as an authorized representative. So let's see what it does now. Right. So this is the new response which is there. To the learned of, this part is, I think, the same. Respected sir, we are the authorized representatives of XYZ and Sons, and we hereby submit our response of section 148 regarding the alleged income escaping assessment. We would like to address the concerns raised in the notice. First of all, the unreported house property income. We acknowledge the rental income of rupees 50,000 located at this particular street was inadvertently not included, and therefore we'll be incorporating it in the revised return. With regards to undisclosed bank interest, we would like to submit that upon reviewing our bank statements, we could not find any corresponding interest income credited to the financial year. This discrepancy may possibly be due to an error at the bank's end, and therefore we kindly request the learned assessing officer to allow us some time to verify this with the concerned bank, or with regards to until such verification is completed, we also submit that the interest income will not be included in the return. Here we can also, if we see enclosed, so there's also an enclosures para which have included a revised computation of income, corresponding bank statements with regards to verification, and supporting disclosures for the business receipts which is there. So business receipts, we have written that it's already has been accounted in income from other sources. Some was not related to business activity, but it was rather a different nature. And then definitely the concluding para. So this is the power of AI which is there at present. And AI as an industry is growing at a dynamic rate. Today, which is relevant here, may not even be relevant tomorrow. But that being said, it's always very important to review what the AI has generated. Let me tell you a very funny story. A friend of mine, it happened with a friend of mine who's also a chartered accountant, and it was in, I think, 2021 or 22, when AI was fairly new. So at that time, there was a Google's AI known as Bard, which is Gemini now. It's definitely improved. But it was something related to this, and he required some sort of case laws with regards to that. Right? So he just drafted a prompt for AI that this is my case. I want you to find 5 or 6 case laws and give me summaries of those case laws as well with regards to this particular case where the judgment was in favor of the assessee. AI generated the entire case law, details, summary and everything within 30 seconds. He gave it to his superiors. The next day, they were supposed to file this particular response. Before that, the superior just thought to cross-verify it with different sources. So he gave a call to that friend, and he was like, where did you get this summarization of case law? Because the summarization was such that the case name was there, the judge name was there, the order date was there, whether it was Supreme Court, High Court, everything was there, including a detailed summary of the responses. So he said that, okay, I'll just give you. So the boss said that give me an order of each and every case law from that particular Supreme Court or High Court website. So he started searching. He was, first of all, not able to find those particular orders. But then he delved deeper into some more databases and he found the cases which were mentioned by the AI. You won't believe the case laws were the same. The names were the same. The judge name was the same. The order number was the same. And the date was the same. But the case was entirely different. He was looking for income tax related cases. There were hit and run cases and there were accident cases which were disclosed in the court. And this was in 2021 when AI was completely new. So just imagine how dangerous it can be for you as well. So it's very important to basically review all those factual cases which are there. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So if I write here that give me case laws favorable to the assessee in similar scenario in India. Let's see what it does. Now this is the ICAI GPT. It gives me the entire set of case laws. So you could just imagine this was the similar kind of thing which was there. That the case law is there, the issue is there, favorable point is there, relevance is there, but actually my case law, this was not with regards to the case law they were looking for. So I can just copy paste this particular case law in Google and just cross-verify this. So it's there, Commissioner of Income Tax. Now this has improved and now this is much more reliable than it was in the past 2 or 3 years. So you just imagine in the span of just 2 or 3 years, it has developed so much. Now, let's talk about another case if I have. Yeah, okay. So these were the cases which are there in terms of AI also. And now let's talk a little bit about the ethical AI. There's something which is being developed by a lot of big companies like OpenAI or Google as well. What ethical AI means is your data is secure, your data is private, your data is confidential. But AI is also not doing or giving you responses which are not ethical. If you give or ask it to provide you any response which may be harmful for an individual or harmful for anybody, it's going to refrain from answering that. This was something which was there, a problem with, I think, Microsoft's AI at the onset when it started, that it was giving self-harm suggestions or things like that to some of the users. So ethical AI is something which a lot of companies are looking for. It's known as responsible AI. And there's another aspect which is known as explainable AI. Right now we have here the particular use cases which we discussed. Like, okay, just this one, for example. We discussed this particular income tax response and everything, but how do we know that where did AI got this response from? How did AI think about it? And based on how did it think, how did it write it? This is a simple thing. We know the response is this, but companies are also today looking at reasons of why AI is giving responses the way it's giving responses. That's something which is known as your deep learning and machine learning details. And the final use case which I'll be presenting here today is basically analysis of a financial statement. Let's take a public limited company here for an example. So I have Reliance Industries Limited annual report. Now, let me just show that to you first. Right. So as you can see on the top here, it's around 267, 300 pages annual report. Now, let's assume if I'm the auditor of this particular company, I'm going to skip the audit related reports which are here, and I'm going to look at only the management related reports which are there. With regards to management related reports, what can we do? Check for compliances. It's a listed entity. One of the most important compliances here can be Companies Act as well as SEBI's LODR regulations, right? So let's try doing that for once. Okay, it's taking a little bit of time to upload. Let me see. I think I have a previous chat here somewhere. Let me see if that works. Okay, so this is a similar chat which I was going to present right now, but it's not uploading for some reason. So here you can see the RIL annual report has been uploaded here. The first question I asked the AI is that I need to check for compliances with Companies Act and SEBI LODR regulations for this document. And I've strictly said it to use management or board reports and other information, and definitely not the auditor's report. So we can rest assured that it's not using any of the paras which has been given by the auditor of the company. So here it gives me a brief overview of this particular response. The document provides various instances of compliance with Companies Act and SEBI regulations. Here are the key points. Companies Act 2013 compliance. The company has complied with the provisions of Companies Act 2013 rules thereunder, adhering to the applicable secretarial standards as well. Board has been properly constituted with the balance of executive, non-executive directors. Regular board meetings are conducted with adequate notice and everything. And with regards to SEBI regulations, the company has complied with all mandatory requirements of Regulation 34, 17 to 27, Regulation 46 2B2I, and there are different various compliances of SEBI. Now let's go into details of these. So I just asked it to give me specifics about compliances with number of board meetings held and the composition of the board of directors with regards to SEBI regulations. So what Reliance has done and what is required under SEBI regulations or Companies Act. So it's going to draw us a comparative for that. It starts with complying with the annual board meetings. Number of board meetings as per Companies Act must hold at least 4 board meetings in a year with a maximum gap of 120 days. Factually correct. And compliance by Reliance Industry Limited, it has searched that entire 300-page document and given me a response within seconds. That RIL has held 6 board meetings and the date of those meetings have been mentioned here. Then we have composition of board of directors. The board of directors, as per the Companies Act and SEBI, have that there's a proper balance of executive and non-executive director. At least one should be a woman director. At least 1/3 should be independent directors. And this is the composition of the RIL's board of directors. There are 13 directors, ensuring diversity in gender, nationality, and expertise. And with regards to the attending meeting or attending the board meetings, here's the particular percentage of the directors which have attended the meeting at times have been attended the meeting. All this data is there in the annual report also. Let me see if we can find it on the annual report itself. And it has also mentioned key skills, expertise available with the board. So it has figured out some sort of a paragraph in that 300-page document which mentioned the skills and expertise of various directors. It has given us that particular as well. With regards to SEBI regulations, it has complied with regulations and the company has adopted with all several discretionary requirements and mandatory requirements, including regular reviews and audits to ensure compliance with effective functioning of committees and so on and so forth. Now, in that entire bunch of management reports which a company might give to us, there might be some single paragraph which may say that there were show cause notices, imposed penalties with RIL. It has identified that as well, and it's given us that particular response as well. And finally, a summarization of the comparative analysis. Minimum 4 meetings required. They have held 6 meetings. Proper balance is required. At least 53% of the independent directors were there in every meeting, 15% were women directors, so on and so forth. This is meeting-wise data and proportion. Now, with regards to explainable AI or the responsible AI, which I was discussing just a few moments ago, I just asked it a very simple question. We all know that it's a listed entity, so Caro will be applicable. But I just asked AI to know about the applicability of Caro. So this gives us an insight as to how AI is thinking. So it starts with explaining us the applicability of the Caro first. That this applies to all companies otherwise explicitly exempted. Companies exempted include banking, insurance, Section 8, 1%, private companies up to some extent, and small companies. And compliance with RIL, now here it gives us the auditor's report as well, because Caro is something which is related to auditors only. So it has overlooked my request to not look at the auditor's report, and it has given me that particular response, that the auditors have issued a Caro report with regards to RIL, and it states that there are no qualifications or adverse remarks by the auditors. Then with regards to internal audit compliances, I think it was the second thing which I've written. Yeah. So first was applicability of Caro, and the second was internal audit of the company, and I need to draw a comparative of this as well. Again, we know that internal audit is applicable. Let's see how AI is thinking about it. So it again looks at the act first, looks at the situation of the company first, cross-reference both of them, and gives you a response after that. And all this happens within a matter of seconds. And here's a comparative summary analysis of internal audit report and compliance with Caro. So here RIL has demonstrated compliance with Caro 2020 and internal audit report as well. So this, yeah.
There is no possibility of probability of anything adverse in the report.
Yeah, it's actually, right now it's only picking data from the auditor's report. Yeah, it all depends upon giving prompt. So if I write here that give me areas where Reliance has been non-compliant. Let's see what it gives now. And mind you, this is a chat which has been there since past 2 or 3 months in my system. It takes minutes to look at it again. It reads the 300 pages again and gives me the response. So there were 2 particular identified penalty. One was the SEBI, which it had already mentioned here. And other regulatory issues in certain instances, there were show cause notice from regulatory bodies, which were handled through legal appeals and settlements as per the industry standard. Now, as I said earlier, that a company may give you an entire set of documents with thousands of pages and a number of different books to look for. If you look at the annual report here, let's see where it has taken all these data from. So I think, okay, it might not be possible for us to, let's see if it's there in the, okay, so there's a point on board of directors here. So here's the board of directors related data. This is on page 15 of the annual report. And here they have been given the entire details of board of directors. Similarly, there has to be a composition of board of directors also somewhere. This is the corporate governance related. So the AI is picking all these data directly from these 300 pages so that we can simply look into all these. Let's do one thing, in fact. I'll just ask, can you give me the page numbers where you found details about composition of board of directors? Page 24 and 25, I think. Let's see. Yeah, so see, there's a particular aspect here that if those people are known, or if that data is there in the document, then it's going to retrieve us there. If it's somebody who's a private company who's not known anywhere, there's no data of them on Google or anywhere, then it may not be possible for AI to right now do that. Yeah, it can give a response over there. So if I can just simply ask here, what do you know about the directors of Reliance? It's going to give you a response based on the document as well and on the web app information which is available. It's giving you the response, all the responses. And let me share with you a fun fact here, that ChatGPT has now come up with an AI voice tool which works on your phone. And it is phenomenal. If let me see if I can work it out on my phone right now. And you can use it to basically do anything which I'm typing here. You can just talk to it. This is very much beneficial for people who think AI is something of a rocket science or requires some sort of a different set of scientific knowledge for that. So on the phone, in the ChatGPT app, there's a voice option. Let me just show it to you, if it works. Just a moment. Okay, while it loads, let me share one more brief information about it. So as I said earlier, that today your data, which is your client's data, is there somewhere on your folder in your computer. But just like C8 GPT, just imagine that instead of saving that data on your computer, you create your own client's GPT. I have a particular company, I have created a GPT for that company using ChatGPT here. So if you go on the profile here, there's an option for My GPT, this. If you click on that, it asks you to create a GPT. If I enter it here, so it asks, so there are two options. One is if you know coding, if you know analysis, this and that, you can go to the configure tab. Here it asks you for the name of the GPT, description, instructions, what we want, and backend files and so on and so forth. We don't want that, all right? We have engineers for that. But here, it gives you a response. Hi, I'll help you build a new GPT. You need to say something as simple as make a creative who helps generate visual for new product, or make me a software engineer who can format my code for me. So I'm just going to write, make me a chartered accountant, for example. So it's updating and it's done. We have an entire chartered accountant here on our system right now, updated with all laws, regulations which are there at present in this country, following the guidelines of the institute without giving any of the 3 exams or the articleship, but having experience of all of them. And I can go more into details about this as well. That
all right. The talk, Dr. Adarsh, over to you.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Okay, let me just wrap this up quickly, and then I'll go to the last analysis sheet which I have presented there. So you can then simply, just like I've asked that I need a CA. So let's just change it. I said I need a client GPT. So I want a company which is there, and I can upload all the data of that company on this GPT. So I'm going to say, make me a GPT of not a CA, but one of my client, who is a computer hardware industry, who is in the computer hardware industry. So again, it unlearns what it knows before, relearns what I've given it next, and it's done. And it suggested a name for us. I said, okay, yes, go ahead. I like the name. Now it's going to create a profile picture for me. This is something which it's generating on its own. There's no copyright, there's no artistic legal regulations or point there. It has generated this particular picture. Let's say I'm okay with it as well. And now comes the interesting part. As I said earlier, your client data is on your computer right now. But if you go to this configure page, it has written all the details as well. So now it has given the instruction that it's a computer hardware industry professional offering guidance on various hardware, software components, so on and so forth. And there's an option for uploading files. And there's a capability known as web browsing here. Web browsing is a capability which allows GPT to access web. So now I want this client data to be secure. I don't want any web intervention in that. I can just simply untick it. So it won't search web for anything now. And in the upload files tab, I can simply upload all the past data which I have of my client. It can be Word, PowerPoint, Excel, anything, images, tally data, whatever it is. I can upload it here. And once I do it, this GPT is going to give me a response of what is the financials of this client, what was the net profit for the past year, what is the net profit of the previous year, and what should be the net profit based on the current industry practices, and identify areas of risk. If I want to audit this particular client in this year, it's going to give me a risk-based analysis, risk-focused audit area based on all the past data which is there. It can be 7 years, 10 years, any sort of data. And that's how you can just create this GPT and select only me. This only me portion is that this GPT will only be accessible to me. Nobody else using ChatGPT can access this. And you just need to save it, and it's done. So if I go to view GPT, this is your GPT. It gives you the name here. It gives you the name of the person who created. It's a little bit blank here, but okay, it's there. And it gives you the entire response with regards to that. Now coming to the number crunching part of the GPT. So I have this particular Excel file here. Let's see. Okay, so there are 2 Excel files which I have. One is related to the forensic aspect of that Excel file. Do we want to do that activity, which it's a small 2-5 minute activity if you want that? Yeah? So one is this data. This is an employee records data. And here, there's a particular something which is off in this data. I hope the data is visible to you. So this is in time and out time which has been given there. And in this particular 5-6 field of entries, there's something which is very uncommon. So let me give you a brief scenario. That it's a big company and it has various departments. Every department has only one fingerprint biometric system. And this is the in time and out time of those employees. So do you see anything which is other than usual in this particular field? Date is okay. Date is not the issue. In the in time and out time column, if I would say. It's, sorry. In time is? Yeah, so these are different employees actually. So it's a collection of all the employees' data. But okay, let me just get to the chase. There's this particular field. The employee is entering exactly at 9 a.m. and leaving exactly at 5 a.m. And okay, let's just say it was a fluke for one day. But if we go further down, this is a record of around 1,000 or 1,500 data. There's another one. And you can see that they might be from different departments. But the point is, there are data in this particular file where it's the same department, 2 persons exactly entering at 9 a.m. and exactly leaving at 5 p.m. There's only one biometric machine. How is that possible? So this is the kind of data which we have to analyze at times, right? So let's put it into ChatGPT and see if it finds the outlier as well. So I've just uploaded it here. So how AI is useful here in this case is it may not be able to identify it at first because there's subjectivity involved. But if we say that, okay, I found this one particular instance that an employee is coming at 9 a.m. and leaving at 5 a.m. Can you find any other instances? Then it may give you a better answer here. Find if any employee is coming in exactly at 9 and leaving at 5 p.m. So it uploaded the entire Excel sheet here. This is the entire set of data, and it's analyzing here in the background. Sorry? Yeah, so if I write any let me just write that. Abnormalities you found. Actually, there's a funny story about it. It's going to possibly give that there are the employees who are working for 10 hours or 12 hours. That's an abnormality according to this GPT. That's not an abnormality here in India. So let's see if it replicates that particular answer. Yeah, so right now it doesn't find any other abnormalities. it does fine. No, there's no other abnormality here. Actually, I have used this chat particular here somewhere in the background in history, and I actually had to tell him that it's very normal in India for people to work 8 hours, 9 hours, or 10 hours. So that's over there. And now with regards to Excel analysis or financial analysis, I'm just going to use this Excel sheet for an example. Like, how many of you have used pivot charts or gone deeper into the Excel formulas or things like that? Yeah? Okay, let's see. Can you make a pivot table for this data showing department-wise employee names, for example, or something to that effect? Again, it's analyzing. Done. This is your Excel file with the different 5 departments over there. So these are the 5. The format right now on ChatGPT may not be perfect, but if you download it in Excel, let's see. So I just click the download button and I save this Excel file here. It downloads a CSV format. So this is something which is still lacking in ChatGPT, but definitely it's going to develop over time. There's no doubt about it. So it's giving me a first name. There might be some need for formatting this table, right? So the other option over here is, if we cut this. Yeah, let me just give a tabular format, not an Excel. So in GPT also there are 2 kinds of output. One is the table which it has given, and the other is not this, a table. Yeah, and the other is this format. Now it looks a little bit more arranged. This table can be copied just like this here, and you can just paste it on this Excel file. Just a moment. Yeah, and you can just paste it here. Sorry. Yeah, there you go. There's your entire pivot chart. So no need to go to your data related sets here and then look for pivot and or text validation or any sort of thing now. You can just simply go to your GPT. It can be ChatGPT, it can be your Google's Gemini. There's Microsoft Copilot, which has been inbuilt in Excel now. You'll need a subscription for that and my Office 365 for that. But in the Home tab here, just outside this Analyze Data, there's an option for Copilot, which is just a set of AI for Excel itself. Even this Analyze Data is now developed into an AI. Let me see if it works here. Or let's use it on the actual sheet now. So this is an entire table, right? I just explained it to you how you can upload it to ChatGPT and find out those differences. I go to Analyze Data here. And earlier, in the earlier versions of Office, this was something which was fairly formula-based or technical Excel-based thing. Now it's analyzing this data. See, now it has given us different insights right here on Excel. I don't know if you can zoom in. Yeah, it's not zooming in for some reason. Let me just read it out to you. Here it has given us a particular pivot table which we might want. So let's say it's suggesting us, so let's use one of these. Sort department by total cost center in ascending order. If I just click on this, it's going to give me a chart for that. All I need to do is click on insert pivot chart, and here we go. This is your entire pivot table which is there in Excel now. No manual intervention, no formula based, no in-depth knowledge of Excel is required for this now. And if you click on this, you can then manually adjust it according to your base formulas which was there. So just to conclude before with this, AI has been developing and it's still going to develop a lot. With regards to the Indian scenario, there's still a lot that AI needs to learn, but we are at a fairly great space. The CA course, the AI CA course which is there, I'm a faculty over there as well. The course is divided in such a way that there's less of a theoretical aspect of AI and more of practical use cases. There are 3 days of course. The day one is about the introduction of AI, machine learning, NLP, this and that and everything. The next 2 days are completely use case based. You use a different set of 15, 16 AI tools, Power BI, Excel, this and that. You apply AI in everything. The aim of that course particularly here is that you need to be aware of the kind of AI tools which are there as allowed by the institute as well. And based on that tool, you need to figure out which particular tool is applicable in your practice, in your office, and start working on it. Because AI is something which you'll have to work by yourself. You cannot just simply listen to seminars or go to the lectures or learn about it. It's something you need to do it in your free time as well, on your own data. Because the more you learn about AI, the AI will learn about you. And with that, I'd like to conclude this seminar. If you have any questions, then I'm right here. Yeah. Any questions? Yeah.
Very excellent presentation. I have just one question. That when we use this ICAI tool
Yes, sir.
in our office, and we do carry out certain analysis for our clients, whether that data will be a confidential or whether it is available throughout the ICAI portal to anyone.
So,
Data secrets.
yeah. So the data which you use using CAGPT is completely confidential. No person can access it. And with regards to ICAI also, ICAI cannot access that data. Definitely they cannot access that data. ICAI is only a platform which it is providing a publications or its checklist or guidance notes. And based on those checklists or guidance notes, that AI is working. The AI is based on the backbone of ChatGPT, which is owned by OpenAI. So ICAI has no access to data whatsoever, whatever data you post over there.
Then whether OpenAI will be getting that access of that
So
data?
with regards to that, sir, I'll just give you a small example. If you use Microsoft Office, Excel, Word, PowerPoint, or even your Windows 10, Microsoft already has access to that data.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter if OpenAI. The point is, these companies are ethically working to use that data to learn themselves. They're not selling that data anywhere. As long as that is there, we don't have any problem in that.
A good session.
Thank you,
Just
sir.
I have a small query. How to develop self-artificial tools where we can get from artificial intelligence? How we can acquire that?
So if you look at ChatGPT here, I just showed that my GPT point over there. So just as simple as that, sir. वो आपका खुद ही का, it's your own GPT.
No, that is about
Yeah.
ChatGPT. Any other Excel
So
tools?
Excel tools, like, let me see if I can show that to you. So there's this particular tab in ChatGPT itself where there's Explore GPT. If I write Excel here, sorry, just a moment. Yeah, is it visible now? So there's a tab here, Explore GPT. Now, as Excel tool, if you want to develop your own Excel tool, you need to have some sort of a knowledge about RPA or script writing or something like that. One way is you can just simply ask whatever GPT you're using, Google's, Microsoft's, or this one. So you can just go to GPT and write that I want to develop an Excel script which does this particular response to me. So I want to develop an Excel macros. Let's just let it suggest what kind of Excel macro it can give. So first of all, it's giving us the process. Enable the developer tab, open VBA. And this is a simple macro which it has given. That if I want to change the font color to red, I can just click on that macro. It has given me the entire code. All I need to do is here copy the code, paste it in the developer tab and run my macro. It's as simple as that. And with regards to the other point which I was telling you, that there's an Explore GPT tab here. And this is the marketplace for GPT. There are thousands of GPTs with regards to every particular field you can imagine. You go to research and analysis, here's GPT which can help you in research analysis, scholar-based, PhD-based analysis, whatever there is. And then there is this, by ChatGPT. These are the set of GPTs which are specifically focused to one or more specialized areas. And this has been developed by ChatGPT. DALL-E is something which is helping you generate images. Then there's this data analysis which I've used extensively. This is something which can analyze any sort of data set for you in minutes, in seconds, and give you accurate results. So it can visualize that data or do things like that. So similarly, if you go to the Excel store, this GPT store, and write Excel, here are all the sorts of Excel related GPTs. Excel AI, diagrams, Excel Maestro, Spreadsheet Maker, Document Maker, GPT Excel, everything is there. How do you select which one should you use? There's a little icon over here. If you can see, there's, okay, it's not visible that much. Okay, so below each GPT over here, it's written that how many chats this GPT has done with different people across the world. So for example, in this Excel diagrams show me this particular point. Here it's written a very light room. Let me see if I can show you in a different way. Okay, dark theme. Let's see if it works now. Okay, now you can, I think, see it better. Still not full, but okay, that's what we'll have to do. So if you see, there's 1M plus written over here. So this means that this GPT has been used by 1 million plus users in chats. So you can stay satisfied that this GPT is giving some sort of an accurate result. That's why so many people are using it. So here there's an Excel AI, which has been used by 300,000 plus, here 3 lakhs plus members. So let's use this GPT for once and start a chat over here. So here it gives some preset of data which it can do. First is data analysis mode, writing function mode, reorganize data mode. These kind of data, if we click on data analysis mode, it's going to give us this particular data analysis model. Here are a few options to start. You can import and clean the data, create detailed chart of graphs, perform statistical analysis like regression, correlation, create pivot tables, and so on and so forth. So these are the kind of Excel-based tools which you can use now. So you don't have to have a knowledge about Excel or deep knowledge about macros or things like that. You just need to know what correct prompt you need to give to the GPT. Because if your prompt is incorrect, then it's of no use. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you tell about use of Meta?
Yeah, so just like ChatGPT, WhatsApp has also developed its own AI, which is Meta AI, which is right there on your phone. If you go to your WhatsApp, there's a little icon over there, blue icon, which is there. It's as similar as ChatGPT, not as advanced as ChatGPT, but it can still get you through basic tasks and understanding and drafting letters and this and that. Yes, I think somebody from there.
So these all are available without subscription, or we have to subscribe or pay for all?
So now ChatGPT has opened up its entire GPT store, uploading of PDF and everything else for free version as well, but there are certain limits that only these many prompts you can ask to it within 24 hours or a common set of hours. In the premium version also, there's not much of a difference, but the limit has been extended. Yeah. Yes. So right now, these kind of large language models don't have that ability. But definitely there are different companies which are working on it. As I said earlier, there's a company called Suvit, which is using data entry as its objective. So we can upload PDFs or photos of the bank statement over there, and it uploads that data on the Tally. Similarly, Tally is, I think, coming up with different sorts of ways to import data and make financials through there as well. But that is something which is specialized in nature. Generative AI right now is very much focused on all areas, not specific areas. But if a particular institution, say ICAI, comes up with some sort of a GPT which helps in doing that, then that's definitely a possibility. Yeah. Yes. So there are different third-party tools which are available right now in the market, which do that up to a limited extent, using AI as well as some sort of rule-based parameters.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
A lot of time we get last-minute images or PDF files which need to be converted in Excel or Word.
Yeah.
Any good GPT or tool you can recommend to use for that?
So I think that can be done here itself. If I, let's see if it's possible. Okay, so this was the sample notice which we used. So first of all, the key here is to extract the data from that one format and then put it into the other format. That's the process which goes behind these conversion softwares as well. So instead of writing that make this into a Word document, let's just first analyze what this data is. So I'm just going to write extract the data as it is from this PDF. This is the extracted data which it is giving me. And the next prompt which I'll write is convert this into a Word file and give the Word docx format file. So it's again analyzing, putting all the data in its Word file. Yeah, and it's given us the link. So I just click on that. Let's just save it on desktop. This is your Word file from the PDF. Now you can do whatever editing you want from here. Right? Yeah. Yes, sir.
Whether it is possible to get latest data. For example, now this latest channel, first post by name as Vantage or something, they are giving very good news. And that latest news I want, but actually linked up with UTI, link up with this Google, the Google, not only Google, but our this YouTube, only the 8 hours back news are coming.
Right. So
Is it possible to get
yeah,
the
up
latest
to
news?
some extent it's possible. Like I've written the prompt here. What is the latest news by first post Vantage?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see what it gives. So it's searching the Google. It searched 2 sites. First of all, it searched YouTube. Second, it searched Bing.com for the first post. Right? The latest episode of First Post focuses on escalating conflict between Israel, Hamas, and overnight raids in Gaza. It gives you a detail. Now you can ask it to go detail into that as well. It may not give the entire article word by word, but it can definitely give you a summary of what's happening in the world.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Right. So I think we can conclude. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, definitely. See, because right now the gap, where I'll tell you what the gap is. The gap here is that engineers know how to make a good AI. They don't know how to make a good finance-based AI. That's where CA's opportunity also increases. If you are in touch with somebody or some company which is using AI, you can definitely collaborate with them. Because we have a financial mindset, we have a financial knowledge which is unmatchable with any other field, especially in terms of engineering or developing an AI in finance. So that's definitely an opportunity available for that. So now I have, for concluding remark, I've opened this ChatGPT, and this is a voice mode of that ChatGPT which I was explaining earlier. So let's see if this knows about Pune a little bit. And I'm going to talk in Hindi if that's okay, because it's very much amazing to just see what this can do. Hi.
Hey there, how's it going?
मैं आज पुणे में आया हूँ, तो यहाँ अच्छी घूमने की कौन सी जगह है?
पुणे में घूमने के लिए काफी बेहतरीन जगह है। अगर आपको प्रकृति पसंद है तो सिंघड़ किला और क्षेत्र सुख टैंक एकदम सही रहेंगे। इतिहास में रुचि हो तो आघा खा पैलेस और शनिवार वाड़ा देख सकते हैं। इसके अलावा ओशो आश्रम और सरस्वती मंदिर भी काफी मशहूर है।
अच्छा, मैं एक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट हूँ और मुझे दूसरे चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट को अगर AI समझाना है बट इन अ पोएटिक लैंग्वेज, तो उसके लिए मुझे ज़रा 3 लाइन कुछ बोल के बताओ।
बिल्कुल, शुक्रवार।
Sorry, there's a network issue, but you get the point how real this sounds. So, and this is just a beta version. And this is a beta version right now available to the paid subscribers of ChatGPT. But just imagine if beta version ऐसा है तो फिर what would be the actual public released version? It's unmatchable to find the difference between human voice and AI voice. That's as a benefit as well as a kind of a dangerous thing to look at. Yeah. Thank you very much.
The last part was definitely a cherry on the top. The showcasing of used cases was extremely important. Some speakers inspire the audience to think critically on the subject, and so you're definitely one of them. Thank you for illuminating the endless opportunities of AI and helping us take a step into the AI-driven market.